Why are container conversions good for entrepreneurs? So, tell you why. Because it gives you more ownership. And when you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business and you're getting yourself established, the more ownership you have, the more control you have, the more flexible you are, and the more you a chance to grow your business to a wider and a broader audience. You see what I'm saying? So the goal is nowadays is to own. So say you renting a building, so to speak, or you renting a building from an existing company, and you get to going good, and then they start raising up the rent. Now you're gonna have to even change your location and things of that nature. And most of us like, man, I can't get started trying to just go buy some land. Honestly, it's almost cheaper to just rent the location of the land where you're putting your business at, and then owning the actual real estate that's sitting there. So that way you can actually move it if possible, but later you can get up your finances to actually buy that piece of property or buy a piece of property to put your existing business. Now, this container behind me is called the HogOn Cafe, and I'm gonna use it to kill actually several birds with one stone. I like to say that because I think that we have to think outside of the box as far as when we're networking. We need to think in threes or fours, and I think we'll be more profitable, when you use one thing to do several things with. You'll be able to grow your business better. You know how the old saying is, you don't want to put all your eggs in the same basket. And I think that's important when you're being an entrepreneur and you're building your business. So to me, having a container conversion in what area you need it in for concessions, for business, for an office, for real estate, a consulting, for products, for services, for whatever you do. I think that is good because there's so many ways and so many different avenues you can go when you're doing this. You can go from just getting a small one to sell products, coffee shops. You can go to a 20-footer, something that's more mobile and easier to move around. A 40-footer, something that's going to be more stationary and you still can move it around, but it just takes a bigger, not just a bigger situation to haul it, but it's just more bulky when you're moving it around. So it all depends on what you want. So a 40-footer you can pick up, take where you want to, and a 20-footer. But you got to think of how you want to haul it, how you want to do it, how you want to be able to network what you got to sell or what you have to offer. So just think about the container conversions. I think that is a cheap way to get started. You can build on it as you go. You can add to it. You know what I mean? So you don't have to go all out expensive starting out. You can start out what you need, and then as you go, you can improve your product. You can improve your container to do exactly what you need to do. But on a normal average, just depending on where you're located at. Containers run anywhere. A good container, especially a 40-footer, going to run anywhere from 2,000 to probably 3,500, depends on the condition of it. So, or if you're in an area where you're by the water or you're by a port somewhere, you might can get that same 40-foot container for $1,100, $1,500. You see what I'm saying? So it all depends on where you're located at. Good morning, good morning. So I just wanted to give you some updates and some information on building your business and why it's important to have a container in whatever that you do, in whatever city you in, because it's ownership. You own it, you own it. Just think about that. And if you own something in your business, as long as you're using it for your business too, you can write it off. You can write it off. Keep that in mind. So if it took you 5,000 to get your business established and you got to maintain it, you can write that off for several years, and then it'll go down to a bare minimum, I believe, after 3 to 5 years. So, but you still can get money out of it as you add to it, just like real estate, just like your home. As you add new updates and new things to it, you can add new things to your insurance. You can take it off. You see what I'm saying? And just remember this too, as a fact: the container was made to withstand hurricanes. So it's structurally sound. When you're doing your modifications, as long as you add the structural modifications to it to make sure it's good to do what you're doing, you don't have any issues. You adding strength back to it when you're cutting things out, it's a plus. So just keep that in mind when you're building what you're building, when you're getting your business off the ground, because I think that it's very important. I'm gonna walk you around a little bit of this one. The weather has been bad. It's been raining, so I might have a bad connection here and there, but I wanted to just give you an idea. Like with mine, this is going to be my showroom floor to actually show what I'm gonna do on a small scale with my conversions, and what I'm also going to be able to do when I'm teaching and showing what a person can do. When I say imagine your container, is just, imagine yours, imagine what you can do with one. So when I release photos and I give different images, is all of them is not my design as far as what I have done. It's things that I like and that I can do. So I want to give a person the ideal, hey, anything is possible. And if we can do it, you know what I mean? Me being a fabricator welder, if I see it, I can do it. I can put it together. So and you too, if you're fabricating a welder, I know you like, oh man, this is how you do this. So I think the goal is just to think outside of the box and to realize that there's no limitations to modifications. No limitations. The only thing that's going to stop you on certain things is your budget and having to refocus and get finances to get things back going. So I get that because I have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially being independent, you know, you don't want to, me personally, you don't want to have a big debt over your head getting started. If you can start without debt, it's the best way to start if possible. You know what I mean? To not have any debt. So just want to show you this real quick and kind of give you an idea. This is a 40-footer high cube. So it's 9.5 feet tall. And we're actually cutting this in to be the cafe, which is going to be my end. And if you see where that line is coming on back, this is going to be a storage facility for signs and extra equipment and material to do other jobs. And then at the rear of it, it's a door so that way you can come from the back from outside. And these are caps. This is going to be my end cap. That's going to be an end cap. I don't know if we're going to add some more to the top of it to be able to have a extra subframe. So I'm gonna talk to her about that today. If not, we're leaving it open and going to prime it to be ready for paint. So you see we got the forklift slots. This one right here, actually on the ends of it, had another piece of metal going across the end, which was the first time I ran across one like that. So I'm gonna have to lift it up and cut another piece in the end to get it to go through. It's got like two angles that goes across, so I'm gonna have to do that one didn't have it like that, so for some reason this one was made a little different. Sometimes you run into things like that, and then when you do, you just have to do those extra modifications. But like I say, this is going to be a unit to kill several birds with one stone, and that's what we're doing today. Just the rear door. I actually got it locked right now, keys in there, but still got a few things to do. Got to put the threshold at the bottom of it, you know what I'm saying, for when you're stepping in. Those are very easy. And like I say, there's so much you can do, you know. So don't limit yourself when you're working on these, because there's you can do so many things you can do. So my goal is to show you some, and also to utilize some of the pieces from it to be able to do other things, to show you what you can use with your strap metal, because you know, like they say, one man's trash is the next man's treasure. There's so much you can do. So my goal is to kill a couple birds with one stone and kind of just show you what you can do with these containers and why it's important, because the ownership is great. Once you own it, but you can also write it off. That's a plus. That's a plus. So keep that in mind when you're doing what you're doing, when you're building, because getting started is key, but having a container to really get yourself off the ground is going to be a plus. It'll be a great benefit for you. So just wanted to check in for a minute, kind of give you an idea of the importance of having one and the importance of being independent and the ownership and being able to write it off. So remember that you can write it off top price for at least up to 3 to 5 years, I believe. And like I say, as you add, you can write that off. You can be able to keep your ownership. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. Nowadays, 2020, we want ownership. We want to be financially free. We want to be stable. And it's going to take money to make money. So don't get confused. You're going to have to spend a little money to gain your independence. But once you get things off the ground, it'll be a lot better for you. But you got to get started. So the goal is to get started. HogOn.